welcome everyone back to the Unity Lounge podcast. I have a hair in my face. That's my bad. So this is episode 3.
Yeah.
So that's we're on number 3 already. It's kind of crazy. Like, it takes us quite a bit to even get into the zone of like filming and everything. So it's like a whole day is gone, even just to film one pod. So that's fun. So
yeah.
We have 2 episodes out. What were the names of them?
Oh my goodness.
Something about success was the first one.
And then the second one was what it means to be.
Oh, what it means to be. Yeah. Those are nice. Well, how do you feel about 2 episodes being out?
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, like, we actually did it. Like,
yeah, I know. It's kind of
real.
Crazy. It feels like I remember when the first episode came out. Like, for me, it was more nerve-wracking for it when it came out on YouTube, just to be like, oh, it's out now. And then once you click it, it's like nothing happened. Like, the world didn't implode. Like, nothing big happened. But, like, just to have it out there. I think the support we've been getting. But, yeah, it's been kind of crazy just having people kind of reach out to us and be like, oh, my gosh, this is great. Like, it's nice that you're doing something for yourselves, like, and everything. I think it's great. It's fun. I love editing. I don't know about you.
Well, you've been doing the bulk of it.
It's just so much fun.
I give you all the credit for that.
It's okay. Don't worry. One day I'll be like, yep, here you go. Have fun. You'll be like, what do I do?
It's like, YouTube, help me.
I'll send you the videos too I've been using. I've honestly just been subscribing to YouTube Academy. So, no, YouTube University. That's what they call it.
You're going to graduate really soon.
Honestly, facts, because I think these next few edits I'm not going to use. Oh, actually, I might. It feels like it's been a little bit since I've edited the videos, so I might have to go back to that. It's fine.
Well, something we wanted to talk about was like imposter syndrome.
Oh, very relevant for having just 2 episodes out. Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot for us because we've recorded, I want to say, a handful of pods before the ones that we actually released. So don't mind
the stomping upstairs.
Yeah, we really battled with just equipment wise. We're like, okay, what works best for us? And then quality wise too was one thing for us that stopped us from putting it out. So now actually having episodes out, we're just like, who are we to be doing this?
Yeah, especially like what we're talking about. It's like, it's also the worry for me personally, like, are people gonna take it the wrong way? Like, I don't want them to take it the wrong way. Like, we're just talking, like, we're just saying our point of view, and if it's not some people's point of view, then that's okay. Like, it's not that deep.
It's just like a conversation that me and you would have on a regular, just recorded.
Recorded. Honestly, I think also knowing where to look is very new for us in general. Just like we just want to talk like this, but when we're editing the video, so like, maybe we should look more at the camera. And like, we're still figuring that kind of like dynamic out, but battling also imposter syndrome. Like 53 views, and we're like, are we famous? Oh my gosh. Like,
we don't say it in a conceited
no. It's just a
way.
joke. Yeah, but it's funny. I honestly have enjoyed being able to laugh with you throughout the whole process. Like, oh, look what we did.
Yeah, for us, like, we are not social media people.
Not at all.
We post maybe 2 times a year.
Yeah, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Like, and it's very weird to like have our faces out. Yeah. Like, I'm very like private, so all my like Instagram posts are like me with my boyfriend, but it's like hands and like just like shots out. Like, I don't really post faces because I'm like, I don't know, like, why do people need to see?
Yeah,
that's like, maybe it's insecurity. Oh damn,
calling yourself out.
Call myself on that one.
Well, for those who don't know what imposter syndrome is, me and my
definitions.
Imposter syndrome, the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. That was a lot.
I don't think I processed anything. I'm like, I know what imposter syndrome like is, but the definition, you want to break down the definition for us.
Like, just imposter syndrome is not being able to believe that you are qualified enough to do something, or the achievements and the successes that you've gotten over time is deserving. It's kind of like, who am I to be doing this? And your fear is somebody that's going to come up to you and say that to you. Like, who are you to be talking about this? Or who are you to be in the position that you're in at work, maybe. I don't I work for myself, so.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I haven't been too much at back to like my school or anything. But I feel like going back to school and like having people at school who have kind of watched it and stuff, it's that fear of like, they're like, oh, like who do you think you are, like about saying about these topics, this and that. And I'm like, it's just a view, it's a different view. If you don't like it, like you say all the time, chew the hay, spit the sticks. Like, it's not, it's just, you know, two girls talking, having fun, just, you know, filming ourselves, which sounds a little bit conceited, but just, you know, trying something new. I feel like just trying to create content, trying to do something for us. I don't even think
we're like, to us, I don't view it as creating content.
Not even, actually.
I just view it as, like I said before, just us having a conversation, and we're just like, okay, are there other people out there that think the same way that we do, or have the same values and morals as we do? It's just trying to connect with other people that believe or have the same thought,
like vision.
Yeah,
I'd say.
same perspective.
That word again, perspective. I think we should put it in our motto. Thoughts unplugged, perspective. Let me see, because we got our own little notes here. I didn't write much for this one. Oh no, this is wrong one, my bad. No, I got a whole page, I got it. I think I also was looking at like shortcomings, like relating back to like the review of the last 2 episodes, and looking at like imposter syndrome in general. It's like, I think to get away from that of like not feeling so much like we're not worthy of saying what we're gonna say is kind of like being able to talk about it as well. Like, not kind of, because you can get in your head a lot and just feel like what you're saying is not valid. But if you just talk to someone, and I know the brain is a dangerous thing. I caught myself.
It really is. And like emotions too play a big role in it. Like, feel what you gotta feel, but don't let it control your actions. And to very much take the time, think about how you feel. Why do you feel that way?
That's huge. Knowing why, kind of like going to the root of the question or root of the issue. And this is in general. Like, why do you have low confidence? And why do you have low confidence? Like, do you not believe in yourself? Have other people told you that they don't believe in you also? Because it could be your environment that really affects your way of thinking. But it makes a difference when you have people who are supporting you and people who tell you like, no, you can do it, just keep doing you. Just like, even just your brother coming to us, and just, or our brothers, both of our brothers comes like, just keep doing it, we don't want you to stop, we want you to keep going, and just see where it'll take you, but also don't limit yourselves and what you guys can do, say, or just like create in general. I think it's been really helpful, to be honest.
It's that push that we needed, like the kick in the butt, I guess. I can't say the other word. But it's just having that cheerleading squad behind you saying like, hey, keep going, keep being persistent, just be consistent. That's all. Just show up even when you don't want to show up. And there's going to be days where you're going to have to give 10% of you because that's all you have left to give. And that's okay.
Something's better than nothing.
Yeah. Something is better than nothing.
Yeah. It's like handing in an assignment, being like, what is it? It's done is better than perfect. Yeah. I do that all the time. Even with editing the videos, like there's so little things like, oh my gosh, we should like in the beginning when I just started, like we have to reshoot the whole thing because we did this and that. And it's like, no, it's okay. It's not that bad. And then we got feedback from other people. They're like, honestly, this is really good. Like, considering it's your first episode in general, that it's really just like, you guys are doing your best. You know, you're doing great. Like, keep it going. It's like, oh my God.
And like the little things that we're so nitpicky about, people don't even notice.
Exactly.
And for us, like, when is it ever going to be perfect? It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be room to improve. And that's with life in general. Like, you're never going to learn everything to its full capacity. You're always going to continue to learn more and more.
Very much true.
So
I agree wholeheartedly. I think another question that we have, because we kind of like working questions. We like to kind of solidify our ideas in question, just so it's easier when we get back together. We have like the same, okay, this is a question we're attacking. How did you view this? How did you not? So it's how it can affect self-confidence and overall mental. So just imposter syndrome. Let me just read what I said. So it makes you think what you are doing is invalid. That there's a right way to do it and that you're not doing it. Yes, I think that's true, because like we compare, specifically we talk about like the pod and stuff, like comparing yourself to people who have been doing it for like years. They have all the equipment, they have all the different support that you don't, that we don't right now, right? And it's like being able to give you that yourself that grace and that time to be like, listen, you're doing the best with what you've got. Be grateful and be like considerate of your own like situation and like the resources. Like if someone's doing it on their phone, it doesn't matter that it's like not the best quality, but at least they're doing it. Like they're doing something, and something's better than nothing.
It goes right back to that. It goes for every aspect in life. It's not just, starting a podcast. I feel the imposter syndrome sneaking in, like podcasters. I don't see it like that.
I haven't even, that's the first time I even thought about it. Now that you said podcasters, I'm like, whoa, hold on.
You're like, take a
step back.
Like before that even left my mouth, I'm like, oh,
you're like,
I don't know what waters I'm treading in right now. But like, even for me, like being a realtor, being in my early 20s, when I first started out, I experienced a lot of imposter syndrome. Like, I know I got the same education as the people that went into real estate later on in life. So we have the same amount of knowledge, and I have great people, a great support system. But I still felt like, oh, people are going to look at me weird or not take me seriously because I'm so young. But that doesn't affect the knowledge that I have to give. It's just finding the people that are willing to listen.
Exactly. That's true.
Yeah. And I think that's like everything in life. Like any role that you play, like as a friend, you're like, who am I to talk about this topic with you? I haven't mastered it. Who has?
That's true.
You have more experience, but sometimes experience doesn't mean that you've mastered a topic. And
like sometimes I feel like maybe because they don't see things or haven't been through the same thing that you did, that they can give a different perspective on things, that it's they're able to shed a new light on the same issue that you've been like looking at. Sometimes it could be as easy as like, oh yeah, but you don't know this and that. But if you just listen and you kind of hear the person who's not in the same boat as you, who's trying to save you.
Well, I think it's also a matter of being willing to take yourself out of your own shoes and trying to get a different perspective. You're like, hey, this is the way that I'm seeing it, but let me take a minute and take a step back and actually hear what you have to say. Because maybe the way that I'm seeing this or taking this is completely different from what you're saying or the intention that you're saying it with, because it could come from a very genuine place when you're giving advice on anything. But I think it's the matter of how you execute it, but it's also a matter of comprehension, because your execution could be perfect, but if they're not willing to comprehend what you're saying and actually take the time to be like, okay, they're saying this to me, but I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to ask why. It's okay to ask more questions to keep, I guess, that thought process. Because at the same time as you're thinking about it, you're also trying not to be defensive. So you're not really listening.
Mm-hmm.
You're just waiting for a moment to say your comeback.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that can happen a lot. I think it's a way of protecting yourself as well. Because when that conversation kind of like starts up, I think today we were listening to the essays, 101 essays.
Yeah.
And something they said
We just aged yourself.
Oh my goodness. I know. Self-help. Wow. But I think something that happened that I heard was that I forgot. It's gone. Oh, sorry. The thought was gone, I think.
We've noticed that Connie here has a habit of starting sentences and not finishing them.
Yeah, I noticed that even like with the first 2 episodes, I'd literally start a sentence and I wouldn't finish it. I'd skip, like they're all related.
Yeah.
So it's fine. But they don't fully finish the sentence. I'm like, oh my God, I'm editing. Like, oh, just finish the idea, the thought. Make it consistent.
Jogged my memory because we were both listening to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yo, it's gone. I'm telling you honestly. I think I need to give up.
Don't give up. It's life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was just the voice inside of you saying, "Don't even go there."
Oh shit! Oh damn! Oh.
Because sometimes it's like you'll have this thought, and it's like really like you need to get it out right then and there, but then something stops you.
Yeah.
And we just gotta look at it like things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And maybe what you were about to say.
It was such a good thought, though. I can't even remember. Like, I just remember how, because we listened to it when we were driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I just remember the drive. There's like nothing going on. But it's okay. Maybe
I
it wasn't
think your
that
mind was
important.
also in like many different places because you were also working at the same time while I was driving and we were listening to an audiobook, and that could be really overstimulating.
Mm-hmm. I think,
Yeah.
I'll just give myself that. We'll
Give
move
yourself
on.
the grace. Give yourself the grace.
It's fine.
One thing that I mentioned was like constantly battling feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key word. Feelings. They come and they go.
They're not, my mom always says, like, you may feel some way in one moment, but you're not, in another moment, you might go back to it once you're like level-headed and you don't feel the same way because you're able to think about everything else. Like, it's not the whole story. Like, you should consider how you feel in that moment, but also you should consider that maybe you just take a step back, especially when things get heated. When like you could be all high up on emotions and then
you're seeing red. So what you're saying, well, I'm the complete opposite. Like, when I'm seeing red, I take a step back. Like, I don't like confrontation. I don't like yelling. I don't like arguing. I know that I'm feeling a bunch of emotions at once, but I can't put a word to it. So I like to take 24 hours to be able to think about it and be able to properly articulate myself in a way in which the other person can understand what I'm saying or where I'm coming from or my perspective on something. And I wrote here, it's like, allow yourself to feel everything, but don't let it control you and the choices that you make based off of feelings. Because the choices that you make based off of feelings can be a completely different outcome if you took the time to think about it and be like, properly analyze it and make a logical decision. It can be the complete opposite of what you know you should do and what you do. Always give yourself a moment and take a step back.
I think it's very valid to just take time and just to cool off, you know.
Because what you say in that moment, I know some people say things in the moment and it's just like they don't actually mean what they say. They just know that they wanted to hurt you
in that moment.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to do a low blow because I feel like you hit me in a place where like you shouldn't even went.
Exactly. And I think that's your defense mechanism as well, just trying to protect yourself. And I feel like these are all just ways of protecting your, like, I would say your ego sometimes.
Yeah.
Possibly, depending on like what it is. It all does depend, because sometimes it's just protecting like the inner child of you that can't kind of like say what they want to say. So like you start like lashing out because you can't realize, you can come to the realization of the things that you have inside. But then also it can be ego, just like thinking that you're the best, and if someone tells you you're not, that's huge. That could feel like a low blow, and it's not something that you want to really come to terms with, like the reality that maybe you aren't the best thing out there, you know.
Well, we also, like, when we're having a conversation, there's 3 ways you can take it. You can either be on the offense, where it's like anything that you say right now I'm ready for, or they say something and it hurts you, and then you go right into defending yourself. I did this because of this. You feel like you need to justify your actions.
For sure.
Instead of taking in what the person's saying and being like, hey, I can see why you felt that way, but this is what I meant. This is oh my goodness, that thought just laughed.
Oh, you too? Okay, so it's not just me, it's the air, something's in the water.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I feel what you say about just like there's different ways that you can approach, and that's for any argument, anytime you talk to anyone. You can always I feel like if you think about, I'm not even finishing my sentence again. If you think about like really where the person is coming from, you could give like a buffer of, oh, maybe they're saying this from with love, with my interest in it, you know, not like, oh, they're attacking me for because they think this and that.
I think imposter syndrome goes hand in hand with self-sabotaging.
Oh yes,
because imposter syndrome kicks in, you're doubting yourself, you feel unqualified, and then that's just a way of you making an excuse to self-sabotage yourself and be like, well, I'm this way because of this.
Yeah, but then you don't, sometimes that, like, you don't grow.
No.
You stunt your growth. So if you're if you're not, I'm trying to finish my sentences here. if you don't give yourself, like, gone again.
If you don't give yourself the grace to be open to what other people are saying, to be receptive of what other people are saying, that's just another way of self-sabotage, because you're not allowing room for yourself to grow. Like, I know that I'm here right now and I want to be here. So there has to be some growing in order to get to the level in which you want to be at. So at what point are you going to take a step back and be like, okay, I think these are the lessons that I need to learn. Patience, like you mentioned in the other podcast, self-control, and just happiness in a way. Because, yeah, you're happy here, but for how long?
That's being content. I don't think that's... I think at a certain point you have a realization with yourself that, are you content with what you're doing? Are you okay with... You can be okay with where you are. You can be grateful. You know, I have all these things. I'm grateful of where I am, of how my life has gone. But then do you sit there and think, is this going to be the rest of my life? Am I not going to be able to get to... What about these other dreams I had before? Like, am I going to put them on the back burner just because, you know, I'm good now? Yeah. Or, like, do you want to aim for more? Do you want to grow higher and just take that kind of... It's work. It's work. It's not that it's not... It's not easy. It's something that you have to put the work in. You have to put the time in. And you have to think about how you're going to get there. And sometimes you need... like a little support as well. You need
a little kick in the butt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, hey, I notice you've gotten happy and content here. But have you thought about this? Like, I see so much potential in you. You have so much potential. Find what you like and try to build something off of that. Because my parents always taught me a career is not the same as a job. A career is something that you love doing, even though you don't get paid for it. A job is something you're doing because at the end of the day, I know I'm going to get a paycheck. You don't find any joy in it, no fulfillment. And what's the point? What's the point?
If there's nothing to fill you up, and I feel like sometimes people go away, like they get their bills paid and then they do their like hobbies on the side. And that's kind of like what feeds them little by little so that they don't completely die inside because they don't have that creative side or that thing that they always wanted to do, but they can't do full time because they have bills to pay and all these responsibilities. And sometimes this comes into play as well. They're like, well, maybe I can't because I have all these responsibilities. I got a family to feed.
But the way that I was raised, like, you think like that, okay, I have all these responsibilities, but I know I like to do this, not in like a harming way or anything like that. Just like, you know, your passion, say it's music. Okay, what can I do, or how can I position myself in a way where I'm doing music, something that I love doing, but I'm getting paid for it? Because at the end of the day, you're not the only one with that idea or an idea. The difference between somebody with an idea and a company is they actually risk it all. But if you're not willing to be a little bit risque, you're just gonna be stuck. And life is gonna constantly continue to make you grow, whether you want to or you don't want to. There's gonna be these canon event moments where it's just like, I knew I needed to learn this, but now I'm forced to.
Yeah, I think that's true. If you don't learn certain things, I'm gonna finish that sentence. If you don't learn certain things one way, you'll be shown other ways where you can learn the same lesson. So kind of on like what I said before previously in I think the first episode where I said, like, if you need to learn patience or something like that.
Take
like,
yourself out of that situation and look from a bird's eye view. Okay, what is this teaching me? What do I need to learn? Because obviously I have not learned the lesson yet because I'm still stuck in the same cycle.
And that could translate into your passion. Maybe you're the person to make the change in that industry. Yeah, sure, there's everyone in music. The music industry is this, that, and whatever. But
can they bring what you can bring to the table?
Exactly. Maybe you don't know. You have a different perspective, something else to give to them, to the industry. And then once you have your music out or whatever content or whatever's inside you that is screaming to get let out.
Yeah.
Once you have that out, maybe you don't know, but other people look on it and be like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. This has inspired me. This has touched my heart. This has made a difference in my life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't specifically need to be like content creating or anything that's like very modern-esque. It could even be anything in the industry, like construction. Maybe you love like
you like building things.
You like building things, so you go into it. But I know there's someone on Instagram, I think he's in Texas, who makes he has like videos and stuff, and the way he treats his people is amazing. Like, he's like,
oh, I know what you're talking about. It's a Spanish guy, right?
Yeah. I think I've seen it so many times, and I'm like, this is making a difference. Like,
it speaks volumes to the people that are around you, that they're like, oh my goodness, I understand why you're doing it. Your why is what drives you. If your why is just for yourself, you're gonna get those results, but it might not be what you want. But if your why is like, hey, I'm doing this because I love this and I just want to share what I have with the world, or if I can make a change or help somebody, it's worth it to me. And people feel that. You don't have to explain yourself to them, but your why is felt through everything. Whether you're talking to someone and they're like, oh my goodness, I appreciate you taking the time to just talk with me or learn certain things about me or remember certain things about me. Like even with clients, like I'm very much a people person, so I like to remember certain things. And one day I was doing a showing and it was actually the client's birthday, and I was like, hey, happy birthday. And she was so taken back that I remembered her birthday. And it makes people feel special. Like, it sounds manipulative in a way, but like, I always think, how would I want somebody to treat my sister or my brother or someone in my family? Okay, I'm going to treat them the way that I hope somebody out there would treat them when they're reaching out for help. In any process, like buying a house, like I would hope they would come to me. But that's okay too if you don't. But just learning different things and being open to actually letting your genuine self pour out. Like, let that light be seen without having to say, oh, I have this amazing light in me, and like justifying it.
Without it being all talk.
Yeah.
You know, to have some actions behind what you do, like practice what you preach.
Yeah.
And like for me, like whenever I used to do like properties and landscaping, I used to judge the clients by what they, like if I met them, if they actually were at home, if they came out, and the simplest thing, glass of water. Yeah. Like I remember there was one lady, like a humble little home, but she asked us to like clean up her garden, and I think we were paving stones on top the grass. Yeah. And she just had a cute little pitcher and glasses of water, and like, hey, if you guys like, that's what it doesn't have to be Fiji or the fanciest water, but like something that you're thinking, oh, maybe they might need like some water, maybe a snack,
basic necessities.
Exactly. So that they're not just thinking, like, that makes a difference for us as workers. It's like, oh my goodness, you're thinking of us.
It shows humanity.
Exactly.
It's just like, okay, I recognize you as a person. Like, you have feelings, you eat, you drink, you poop. Like, we're all the same. Yeah. But it gives that level of, like, I care. Yeah. I cared enough to take a moment out of my day to be like, hey, do you need anything? Yeah. What can I do to help?
And that makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Especially as an owner of a company, how that guy's doing it. I want to plug his thing because he's so great. If I can find it before, when I'm editing the episode, I'll plug it. Yeah. Because he's just, everything he's doing is so great. Just giving back to the workers. He's like, I know you're here to get paid. I know you have to pay bills. I know, like, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. Sorry. Doggy. That's my dog.
You're doing a great job. But, like, let me reward you for that, because thank you for allowing my business to grow.
And I think that's where imposter syndrome can pop up too. Is like, well, who am I to be doing this? But it's like, no, I genuinely care about people, and I care that, say you're an owner of a company, like we both know, we own companies, and it's just like, we want to treat our employees properly, because then they'll care for what they're doing even more, because there's a mission, there's a reason, the why is very clear. It's not just saying, oh, we stand for this, but what we're actually doing is the complete opposite.
Exactly.
And so
it's like being hypocritical. It comes off as like fundamentally. And it's not where you want, like, if do you want to be like everyone else, or do you want to be in the industry of everyone else, but making a difference so that you're remembered because of your actions, and not like, oh yeah, they say this, but they don't actually do anything. What do you have to prove for that? Like, to show for that? Yeah.
Like you said, it's not all talk. I was about to say all walk. Like, that's not what I meant.
Not a walk.
No. I need to go for a walk today, actually.
Yeah, honestly, we talk about this. I'm a plant, and she's a dog, so she needs her walks.
Daily walk. Like, just give me food and water, and I'm happy.
I just need the sun. Just leave me on a pad. Like, let me grow in the sun. Give me some water, and I'm fine. Like, I'll go for the walk. It's fine. But, like, the sun gets it for me. I need sunlight.
But that was way off topic.
Yeah. We're just jumping at this point. I have another point here that is so again, the question how imposter syndrome can affect self-confidence and overall mental it can bleed, like if you don't have that self-confidence, it could bleed into other aspects of your life. So that could even lead to anxiety, to depression, because you don't feel like you're enough at all. And that's why confidence is so important. Like, it's to believe, I think it's to believe in yourself, fundamentally, to believe that you're worthy of what you're saying, of what you're doing, of you as a person.
Like, how can you expect others to believe in you if you can't even believe in yourself?
Facts.
Like, how? And we have to be okay learning, like, hey, this works for me, this doesn't, and I acknowledge that, and I'm gonna try to make a difference here, or find what works for me, because sometimes what works for other people does not work for you, and that's okay, because you can still get the same result, just a different way, different path.
Exactly.
But we have to be okay with acknowledging that it's okay not to fit that cookie cutter image. Yeah,
especially like everyone else's life. Hi, Doggo. Everyone else's life, like how you maybe don't follow what they do, don't follow what everyone else is doing,
and you only really see a snippet of everybody's life. You never truly know what's entirely going on or what's happening in their life. You're only seeing what they allow you to see. Exactly. And if you see a snippet of something that they don't want, that happens.
That leaks through the pages.
Yeah, but we don't know the entire picture, and honestly, we don't have to know.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's needed. No, I think sometimes that fantasy helps certain people, or it helps like the image of the whole, like the brand or whatever, the overall over the greater good. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, the overall good, not the overall good, the greater good. Yeah. And sometimes it's a privilege to be able to look behind those like, I'm thinking literally Instagram pictures. Yeah. So like, you know, when they have like a good life and they show everything is fine, but like they say like but maybe they're doing their stuff in the background, but maybe it's not your privilege, it's not you.
But maybe there's not. Like, assumptions are very dangerous things.
Yes, 100%.
Because I could assume, like, you could tell me something and I can make an assumption off of that, and it can mean the complete opposite of what you said, but that's my truth now.
Exactly.
But it's not the truth. Which is really crazy and really cool at the same time, where it's like, interesting. We can be sitting in the same room listening to the same speaker, but I might get a completely different message than what you get. Like, that is wild to me.
I think that's also why we do our things the way we do. Like, we have base questions, and then we kind of like take our own space. And I'm oftentimes like I really want to look over and be like, what are you writing? Like, am I writing? Is what I'm writing right? Is it the same thing? But I have to remember that it's like different. We're trying to come together with different ideas, different perspectives, and to be able to have like another view altogether. Maybe you didn't see what I saw, but and vice versa.
Yeah, you bring me a new perspective. Like, that's the beauty in this. Like, there is no right or wrong way.
I think that's very valid. Yeah.
100%. And we can't just allow ourselves to sabotage ourselves because in our mind, oh, there's this way. This is the right way to do it. No, there's not. It's what we make it.
That ties really well with imposter syndrome. Yeah, that's actually, I think it's a good way to round it off. Yeah.
Life is what we make it too. It's not just things.
You choose the reality you want to follow. What?
You choose the reality you live in?
I think you can choose you choose to see what you want to see sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something specific, I can guarantee you will find it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I remember one of the trainers at my brokerage, she was like, if you say that you really like a car, just say, I like Camaros. As soon as I'm like, I'm going to get a Camaro, which at the time before I bought my car, I said that, and I guarantee you everywhere I went, I saw a Camaro because I was subconsciously looking for it.
Yeah.
Like, they could have been there before, but I wasn't looking for it before.
So you didn't see it.
You
It
didn't
wasn't
see
in
it.
your reality.
Yeah.
And what you were seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to just notice what you're focusing on. If you're focusing on the negative and the bad things, oh yeah, my life is bad because this and that,
That's what you're gonna get.
that's what you're gonna be seeing. That's what you, and then when you other people's lives come in, that's all you can see in them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but they're this way and that, but you don't see behind the scenes what they're doing to
Mhm.
try to get out of it. You don't see like everything else all around that made them into that person they are. But yeah, I think it's just perspective and giving.
There's the word again.
I think I'm gonna start a counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, a tally of how many times you said it in each episode.
Perspective.
Perspective.
You know, you just gotta change your perspective.
Change your perspective. Perspective needs to change.
Yeah. Or I saw this from a different perspective.
Perspective.
But it's true. Like, even in the 101 essays that we were listening to, perspective was a big thing. And we both sat there and we're like, dude, this is what we've been talking about.
Yeah, I was like, I feel a little bit called out sometimes too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, I see what you're saying, but there's always that
But yeah, I've been seeing this around a lot. I started watching Game of Thrones, and then surprisingly it came out then, and I've seen it in other things. Anything after the but is null and void. Like, if they say, oh yeah, you're so pretty and you're this and that and you're such a great person, but ignore everything that happened. Anything before the but, ignore it. Oh, it was someone on Instagram as well. I think she has a podcast. I don't know who she is. I always just see it and I'm like, I need to start recording these. But she has great content.
That was like a like.
As a like
for the people that are listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can't see.
Yeah.
Everyone can see. I forget. But yeah, I think that's very important too, to be careful what you say. And like, oh yeah, you're this and this and this, but
whatever comes after the but stays with the person.
Yeah. Should stay with the person, because anything before is just trying to fluff you up for what's actually
coming after.
Exactly what's coming, the harsh truth that they're trying to tell you. Because everything after the but is serious and it's more concrete. Yeah.
It's more well thought out.
I think so. Yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah. I have a problem with always being like, but, and then I get called out on it all the time. It's like, okay, I'm waiting for the but. I'm like, but there is no but.
And then you start thinking and you're like, but.
But you're like, but is there a but now? And like, you're really thinking about it and you're like, no. It's trying to stop that habit of, this is so great, but this can happen. No, this is so great. Let's see what happens. Or
this is so great, but it would be better if this and this and this. No, this is so great. How can I make it greater? Or like, how can I add to this? What needs to be tweaked? What, for a better experience.
For that growth, for that self-growth in itself. That was a lot of selves.
Yeah. Another counter.
But
however, ignore everything we said just before them. It's all invalid.
I was just gonna say, let's wrap this up. I feel like we kind of touched on all our ideas. Like, I know I have. I'm not gonna close this. Have you?
Yes, I have. Like, literally the last thing about how confidence is important and believing yourself was my last little note, and how it related to your success in general, because we can tie it all back to the first episode of, if you haven't watched it, you can go back and listen or watch it.
Everything's intertwined. It doesn't matter how we try to break it down, it somehow is like, I don't know,
it just
weaves together.
Yes. I think it's cool,
It's really cool.
I feel like then it's better if the people start from episode 1 so that they know exactly what's going on, 2, 3, so it all relates. But even if they don't, I feel like if you just watch a random episode, you're like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. It's like, I could get behind this, or it's like, this is not for me, and that's okay too.
We're not looking for everyone to like it, just whoever can like it. If you do,
whoever relates, and whoever doesn't, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thank you everyone for tuning in to episode number 3. I don't know what we're gonna call it. Probably just Imposter Syndrome. Yeah, it's plain and simple. Just
Imposter Syndrome.
Dun dun dun.
Make it sound so big and scary.
I know. I'll use capital letters.
Yeah. Ooh.
Some exclamation points. That's actually how I wrote. That's actually how I wrote it in my notes. I'm like, imposter syndrome.
That could tie back into all the thoughts and feelings you feel too. It just feels like it's getting thrown at you. You're getting yelled at by yourself.
Wow.
So it's like you versus you.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be strong enough to withstand?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, that's how my brain works. But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it, and everybody that's joined us during this episode too. Hi, I'm Deja.
Hi, I'm Connie. We didn't even introduce ourselves. Oh my goodness. I think we need a checklist. We're still figuring this out.
We're learning, and that's okay.
Oh, and if anyone has any tips and tricks, we would be more than happy to read them in any kind of comments. I know Spotify has comments now. Like, there's a question. Sorry, we're still figuring this out.
I didn't even know Spotify had questions.
I didn't until someone said something, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is great. You can do that. So there's Spotify. There's the YouTube. You can always leave comments for
Instagram,
for anything, or even questions. I feel like we could, if we ever get like a good amount of questions, we could do like a whole episode on that.
We're learning. Like, I know we may look young, but we are learning this social media thing. There's a whole science to it.
Yeah, science. I did not know. Like, and I'm decent at science, and this is like a whole other shebang.
Oh no, I have been terrible at science. I could recognize that. I barely passed, but okay, I'm willing to learn.
I was gonna say, you don't have to do it anymore. It's fine.
No,
you know, never
I dropped that so fast.
For me, it was math. Oh, math was terrible for me. But I chose to do literally the highest levels of everything. I could have just, done college. It's fine. I don't need to do university.
The expectations, the social expectations we put on ourselves.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so we're going to close this off. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Yeah. And hopefully tune in on the next episode.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.